Michael, there was a point this season when Christian Braun wasn't playing up to the standard that he had kind of established for himself in the playoffs last year. You talked around that time sort of about the conversations that you were having with him. How did you kind of see him respond throughout the course of the season, and where have you seen him grown the most?
I think he's at his best when he's playing aggressive and confident. And I felt there was a point maybe beginning of the season where that was wavering a little bit, not shooting the ball the way he had hoped. And for me, it was make or miss. You got to get back to playing your game. You're an attacking player. You're an aggressive player. And he's a winning play type of a player. Loose balls, in transition, rebounds in traffic, attacking the basket, not settling. And lately, obviously, he's closed the last 2 games. He's shooting the ball with confidence. Make or miss, he's stepping in, shooting it with confidence. There's no hesitation. And for me, as his head coach, that's what I want to see from him. And he's been outstanding for us throughout the whole season, obviously now in this second round of the playoffs.
Michael, everybody always says Nikola's the same guy, whether it's game 1 of the regular season or you guys are down 0-2. So I guess how valuable is it to have that kind of steady leadership over the course of a series like this where you guys find yourself down 0-2 at one point and now you're got a chance to close it out tonight?
Yeah, I think it's always valuable, but it's not just Nikola. I mean, we have a locker room full of guys that take ownership of this team. Could be a guy like Nikola, a 3-time MVP. Could be a guy like DeAndre Jordan, who is not even in the rotation. But, all of our guys are unafraid to speak when they need to. And obviously Nikola, being the selfless leader that he is, when he chooses his moments to step up and speak, they're very, very impactful. And obviously we're really lucky to have guys like Nikola and Jamal and Aaron, DJ, whoever else, KCP, a 2-time world champion. They all understand after being down 0-2 what was needed to be done. And to their credit, we responded. But obviously we have a huge challenge in front of us tonight.
Coach, you said multiple times that Ant was going to get his, and he certainly has scored a bunch, but then you hold him under 20 in tough shooting night. So I guess how much of I don't call it a moral victory, but I guess how much of a boost is it when you can make his night that difficult?
It doesn't really matter. We just want to win. We beat them and he had 43 points. We beat them, he had 18 points. He could score 50 if we win. That's all that matters. And we know that tonight, elimination game in front of their home crowd, he's going to do everything in his power to put that team on his back and try to bring them back to Denver for a Game 7. And obviously it's our challenge to try to replicate what we were able to do last game. He only had 6 in the paint. We sent double teams at him all night long, tried to wear him down, and hopefully we can have some success doing that again.
Coach Malone, we talk to players a lot about playing in big games, wanting the moment. How much as a coach do you relish this, especially going up against the same opponent over the course of 2 weeks? How much do you relish this type of environment in terms of pushing the right buttons?
Well, yeah, it's always pressure is a privilege, right? Billie Jean King. I think anytime you can be in an environment like this, closeout game, I think that's, as a competitor, and yes, I'm not out there playing, but your competitive juices get going, and these are the environments that you live for. Most of the NBA is sitting home watching. We're here playing in a hostile territory, and I love doing it on the road because all you have is a man next to you, and you got to rely upon each other for 48 minutes. So it should be a great night, and hopefully our guys are able to dig deep enough to try to close this out. We know it's going to be a challenge because they have a hell of a team over there.
In games 3 and 4, you guys were pretty good at sort of making sure that their little runs didn't turn into big runs. If it was a 7-0 stretch or something like that, whether you were calling a quick timeout on it or not, what's it going to take to kind of keep the crowd from getting into it tonight and to sort of keep a lid on anything that they're able to do?
Our offense, if we play a clean game that limits their transition, that keeps Anthony Edwards out of the paint. I think in their wins, he's averaging over 18 a night in the paint. In their losses, he's at 11. And so I think if you want to keep the crowd out of it and give your defense a chance, you have to make sure you have a clean game offensively. They've shown time and time again they can turn you over in a hurry. They can block shots, and that converts into easy points in transition, highlight dunks, and that's when this place will just erupt. So can we play a clean game? Can we, once we've drawn 2 defenders, kick it out for an open shot and try to limit their breakout plays, their exciting plays?
You have some faces on your bench that are familiar to people here. All 3 of you, sons of coaches. What have Ryan and David given your staff and your team?
Yeah, well, obviously, David Adelman's been with me for quite a while now. And obviously his dad, Hall of Fame coach Rick Adelman. And, David is a head coach in waiting. There are jobs that are open right now, and he's being mentioned for some of these jobs. And I don't know what else David Adelman can do to show people that he's deserving of a head coaching opportunity. But he knows the game. He grew up in a gym. High IQ, and his ability to relate to the players is second to none. And then Ryan Saunders, obviously, every time I walk in this building, I always look up at the banner with Flip on it, and Flip meant so much to a lot of people. But Ryan, another guy that grew up, the son of a coach, grew up as a, student of the game. And in his 2 years with me, he's just been, having a former head coach. Unless you've kind of sat in that seat, you really don't know until you've done that job. And so having a guy that's been in that seat before, and it wasn't an easy time here for him in Minnesota, but they're great people, they're very good coaches, and they help me and this team out so much.
Michael, in Game 2, you guys obviously didn't play your best, but Aaron Gordon still had a strong offensive night, and his offense has carried through the 3 wins that you guys have had, and some of that, you have him taking the ball up some. Do you think just the extra touches, those scenarios where he's taking the ball up rather than Jamal Murray has led to an extra rhythm for him and maybe led to the more consistent offense that he's showed in the series?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it can't hurt. Anytime the ball's in your hands. But even when he's the way we play, even when he's not the primary ball handler or initiator, the ball is moving, the ball is flying, and I think a lot of it has to do with how they've guarded him. And I think after maybe it was Game 4, somebody joked that Aaron had turned into Kobe Bryant, and well, he's open. Your game plan has been to make Aaron Gordon beat you, and you're loading up. You're letting his man kind of roam and be a free safety. And Aaron's, I think sometimes he takes that personally. You know what I mean? Like he takes that as a disrespect. He's a hell of a player, and it's been really fun to watch him kind of step up and have the efficient productivity that he's had in really big games. And you look at everything he's doing for us right now. It's the shot making, the rebounding, the playmaking, guarding Cat, guarding Anthony Edwards. I mean, he's doing everything for us except drive the bus. So I mean, you got to be really, really appreciative of the level he's playing at right now.
Mike, in Serbia, there's a term called inat, and it's really just a lifestyle of just living up to the moment. There could have been a lot of expectations of winning your 3rd MVP and not living up to those expectations. Jokic goes and has his best game possibly ever in a Nuggets uniform. What does that say about him?
Yeah, I don't really even think that, I know people maybe want to see the MVP trophy presentation with that game. I just think it's Nikola always finding ways to step up and play at his best when the team needs him to. He was named the MVP, I think, right after we were embarrassed on our home court. And I think he, as well as everybody else in that locker room, kind of realized that we have to dig deeper and play a lot better. So Nikola, there never seems to be a moment that's too big for him. He rises, and to your point, every time you think you've seen him play his best game, he'll wind up digging a little bit deeper into his bag of tricks and finding a way to be even better, whether that's scoring 40 points, 13 assists, no turnovers. Somebody sent me a stat today. I think he had 129 touches last game and no turnovers. And I think there's only one person to come close to that, and it was a guy named Nikola Jokic. So speaks to his greatness.